Wouldn't it be great to just feel Moe Norman's golf swing just one time? Today, I'm going to show you how you can feel like Moe with a broomstick. Hey, first, before we get started here, I want to thank all of you for supporting my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I'm going to be on this channel. You're going to see me talk a lot about Moe Norman's golf swing and the single plane swing to help you simplify the game. So thanks for subscribing. If not, I look forward to seeing you as a subscriber for the channel. So let's talk about what the heck is going on with Moe's swing. Now here you have this guy, he's the best ball striker in the world. Why is he placing the club this far behind the ball? And why, if it's a single plane, isn't it going exactly back on the same way down? This is the argument a lot of guys give me, is like, well, it's the same plane, it should go back and down the same plane. I'm going to show you why not. So there's this thing that's called the natural movement of the body. I've talked a lot about how the easiest way to move the body, but once again, our goal is to get to the moment of impact. So, got to tell you a quick story before I get into the details here. So when I saw Moe hit golf balls for the first time, obviously it was amazing, right? He was the sound of the golf ball, the strike, the purity of the flight, the consistency of the penetrating ball flight into the sky, the same trajectory, it was just kind of one of those moments where you're like, wow, this guy really has it figured out. And then when I got home, obviously I used to always take a lot of video of Moe's swing so I could study it. And I took a video of Moe's swing home. This is back in 1994. And I watched Moe. And I would put the video of Moe on one screen and then put the video of me on the screen right next to him. And I had those old VHS, VCRs, and I would toggle them back and forth. And I would study the difference between what Moe was doing and what I was doing. And my theory was, if you just match what Moe does, you'll get Moe-like results. And I remember when I was watching Moe hit golf balls, all I could think was, God, if I could just feel that, right? We just want to feel it one time. So as I'm watching this video of Moe, and I'm trying to feel his swing, my goal was to feel his movement. I want to move like Moe Norman's moving. I want the timing of it, I want the mechanics of it, I want the efficiency of it. I'm watching this video, and I'm going to show you a clip here. I started drawing lines on the screen, and this is what I saw. Check this out.
So when I was analyzing Moe's swing motion, and I was just studying the club movement, the first thing you noticed is that the club points to the lead side of the body, or even at address. So you see this club angling up to the, if you called this the lead side of Moe's body, anything on the right side of the screen there would be the lead side of Moe's body. So you see the club going to the lead side of the body. It's pointing there. So I'm just going to draw a line up the club as he goes back. And what you start noticing is all these lines will point to the same spot till about right here. All these lines go to the same spot. Now notice this, I'll bring back Moe down to address. Everything is pointing to this area right there. See that? So this is the pivot point of the body. So it's the lead side of the body right in that area. Now everything's pointing there. Now check this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these lines away and we're going to mark this area. I'm going to actually do this a little differently. I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to mark this area of his body where we just saw, right about there. And then we're going to watch something. So there's where everything's pointing, and then we're going to basically take him back, and then we're going to mark that same part of his body at address, at impact. And you can see it moves down and slightly forward. So if it's just in front of that belly button, across from the belly button, just on his lead side, so here's the lead side of his body. There's the lead side of his body right there. That lead side is moving when he rotates. See that? So, in other words, you can have the club to that relationship, and that's going to move back and then down. It'll be different at impact. So once again, there is a relationship. So you see that club pointing to the lead side of the body. See, it's even there, but here's what happens. As Moe goes back, that club continues to point at the lead side of his body. And no matter where you look back here in this first part of his backswing, it's always going to point to that spot, right on the lead side. So there's that pivot point. And there's a relationship between the way he moves and the club pointing to the part of his body called the lead side.
So you see those lines. I did this on the Golf Channel, by the way, with Jerry Foltz, I think in 2000 or 2001. I presented this on the Golf Channel. What you're seeing is what I call the club to body relationship. So what I did was I ran and I grabbed a broomstick. And I was like, okay, I see what Moe's doing here. The club is relating to not the center of the body. This is not the center of rotation of a good golf swing. This, the lead side of the body, things seem to be pivoting around this area. Wow, it's weird, right? I mean, the lead hip, but it's not weird. Because if you look at all good ball strikers at impact, the club is pointing to the lead side of their body. No one hits a good golf ball here. The club's always on this side of the body the whole time. It unhinges. See that? The club is unhinging on this side of the body, the lead side. There's what's happening. That's why you get the compression and the downward strike of a golf club. That's why if you don't take a divot, you're not getting this. You need to take a little bit of a divot and a compressed shot. So I'm seeing this. So I grabbed this broomstick. So the first thing I did is I went and grabbed a broomstick, and I just sat there. And I just made this motion. I attached the broomstick to my body, I tilted, and I did this. And I videotaped myself. Going into Moe's movement there. See that? I'm going to move my club here so you can see this. All right, so I did this. And look what's happening there is you're seeing the club relative to the lead side of my body. It's not coming away, right? Now, watch this. That is exactly what happens in Moe's backswing. You see him extended, but the club is moving to the inside. He has a club to body relationship that's pivoting around the lead side of the body. Now, why is that important, right? You're like, big deal. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because we're trying to recreate that relationship at the moment of impact, right? Because it's all about impact. Now hang on a second, this gets even more interesting. Because now, if I can establish a club to body relationship, right? That I can take it back and then down and recreate that, it's got to return to the same spot every single time. This is what Moe was doing. This is why he was such a great ball striker. Okay, so we've established that we see this club to body pivot area and the club's moving around that. Here's what's fascinating. So I took this idea to Moe. I said, Moe, check this out. And at the time I had a long piece of PVC. I said, Moe, hold this. And he goes, you know, Moe didn't have any, he was kind of like, whatever. And he's holding this piece of PVC. I said, take it back. And Moe was like, what? So Moe takes it back. And you notice his hands hinge. So he gets to a leverage spot, right? So his leverage at the top. Watch this though, it was crazy. I didn't move his hands, I unhinged them. And when I unhinged his hands, I went, Moe, stay there. And I unhinged his hands, and it hit him right there on the lead side of his body again. So when you're on plane, this relationship still exists. You just have trail arm fold and hand hinge. Okay, wow. I said, holy cow. So here you are at the top, you're leveraged, and you still have this relationship. All you gotta do is move and then unleverage, right? Move and unleverage. Watch this though. Okay, so swing plane, Moe's leverage position at the top, is a function of this relationship, because if I'm this way, look at that. If I'm off of plane, steep, and I unhinge my hands, it hits me there. If I'm too flat, it hits me here. If I'm on plane, it hits me in the right spot. Plane of a golf swing, the natural movement of the golf swing puts the club on plane. You don't have to put the club on plane. You have to get natural movement to the top. Wow. So now, watching Moe's relationship was the reason the club goes to the inside, because Watch this. This relationship is different than this relationship because to maintain, see, this is moving. See that? It's moving. So when I move, the arms are staying in this relationship, which moves the club path. It appears from you back there that the club's going in and over, but it's not. It's maintaining its position relative to the pivot point. This is massive. This is massive. I'm not manipulating anything. I'm maintaining my lead side relationship. Let me ask you this. Can you go up to a tree and whack a tree like that? Can you? Can you go up to a tree, stand next to it, grab a stick and whack the tree like this? You got a golf swing. Seriously, that's what I'm doing here. That's what Moe did. He whacked things like this. It's a natural motion, but you notice it doesn't go back the same way as it comes down. It goes in and then out. Watch people that take an axe. They go in and they go out. It's the natural movement. It is not over the top. It is the natural relationship to come down to strike that object that's on the ground. I know it's radical. I get it. I teach this approach, which people think is radical. It's natural. It's the natural motion of a golf swing. Okay, so it should not go straight back and straight down because the body's changing its position. It's in a different rotation here as it is here. So you're going to see the arms maintaining the relationship to this pivot point. So the arm pass should go slightly in and slightly out here. That's why you see that movement. Now, why did Moe place the club this far behind the ball? It answers that question too. I'm going to do it with the stick first, then I'll do it with a golf club. Check this out. A lot of people ask me that question about why does Moe place the club back, and because you take it back low and slow, all those great reasons but you know me, I'm kind of a scientist type guy. I kind of like to investigate why. All those things are probably true. Watch this though. This is the motion science behind why Moe did it. When I create this relationship of club to body, right? So I have this lead side relationship. There's my address because if I tilt, I have to have that lined up with the arm to keep this lead side. Now watch. I'm going to turn to impact and watch what happens. Goes forward. If I keep this relationship and I turn, it goes forward. So in other words, because this part of my body is moving forward, the hands have to move forward. They have to start back and move forward. So it doesn't matter if I have a wedge or a driver, this gets moved forward based on how much this rotation of my body is and how long the club is. This was the real reason that Moe started the club behind the ball, because the relationship at address to the lead side, to my impact area, is different. I only have 15 degrees of rotation in my torso. Now I have 35. So that movement makes the club different at impact than at address. But it's the same relationship. Does that make sense? This is why Moe placed the club behind the ball. It's the natural place to put it if you have the proper pivot area. Okay. One more thing for you here. So now, let's talk about how I started training this. So I got a little thinner stick, and I got, it's actually, I can separate this, and I built a grip. Look, trust me, all these training products that I came up with, just so you know, I built them for me so I could practice, then I end up manufacturing for my company. But anything you see me design is so I could practice this correctly, so I could get proper feedback. So I built a training product that I could put my hands on correctly, build the lead side relationship, and now watch this. With this stick here, I can go in, down, impact, in, down, impact. Notice that when I go back, this doesn't come away. It's keeping this relationship to my lead side as I move the arms, in, up, down. And so now what I'm doing is lead side relationship, keep the leverage, unhinged to a lead side relationship. Lead side relationship, create leverage, maintain leverage, unhinged to impact. Holy cow, that's what I figured out with Moe. That's what I figured out with a broomstick. That is a secret to why Moe is so great at impact, and that gave me the feel for Moe's swing, and I'm super excited to share that with you today.